directly face the electorate and talk to them. People are dying, he kept quiet. They are wreaking havoc. Fulani headsmen are everywhere. And they are supporting them. One of the certain excuses given by these people from the presidency was that Fulani headsmen are, they are defending themselves.
And they are not
and all that. And then Nigerian, and they are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians, and there you allow them. Where did they get AK-47 or lots of weapons of warfare they are using to maim and destroy lives? And the so-called Nigerian politicians, including those from Biafra land, are keeping quiet about it. And you want me to keep quiet? You want other people to keep quiet? Because life is so sweet, we don't want to do anything that will unruffle us or something like that. And the question is, for how long will they play games with their lives? If others don't do anything, we shall do something with it. More importantly, we are not fighting for one Nigeria anymore or for the structure of Nigeria. We are going for ultimate restoration of Biafra.
Okay.
And so there is no similarity between Obaseki that was here before and ourselves. I heard him say that IPOB agitation was internet and intellectual breakdown. That's an insult. And he appears to be saying, I don't have anything with IPOB and all that. Let me tell you something. There was a question thrown at him, he didn't answer it.
Yeah.
Would you allow people whom you are claiming to be Igbos and other people in the so-called
I have a question. Let me speak to
this referendum?
Yes, I have a caller. Hello, Austin. Thanks for joining us. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, let's have your contribution.
I just want to. I thought that I was listening to your previous guest and now listening to the IPOB deputy leader. I just want to find out because according to their map, they put down parts of River State, Delta State, and the Ijaw people as Biafra. I just want to know what do the Ijaw people have in common with the Biafra. As far as I know, there's no connection between the Igbos and the Ijaw people, because if there's a connection between any tribe in Nigeria, the Ijaw people are more related to the Yoruba because they are part of the Yoruba family history. So I just want to know what connection the Ijaw people have with the Biafra. And the second question I want to say is that when Nigeria was divided into 4 regions, a lot of the Ijaw people did not benefit from the Eastern region. Most of them went to the Midwest region. That's where they were able to get scholarships to educate themselves. Then the people who were marginalizing all the other ethnic groups in the Eastern region. That's a little conversation. I want you to respond to all these questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
He has made a statement of facts from his own perspective, isn't it?
Yes.
He made a number of allegations. And it is left for him to provide evidence that Ijaw people were marginalized and done all manner of things. It is also left for him to define the relationship between Ijaw people and the Igbo people. But I want to say something here. Question for him from me is, where was Ijaw people during the 1960s? The old Eastern region, was Ijaw in the north, or was it in the Midwest, or in Yoruba land? If you can answer that question, then I will be very much generous to provide further information. Now, let me also repeat what I'm saying here, what we have said. The effort we are looking for remains the old Eastern region. Some part of this area they call South-South, the whole of the area they call Southeast, some part of Middle Belt. And because of the corruption that crept in during the so-called creation of state definition of boundaries, gerrymandering of boundaries, a lot of people were uprooted from their natural environment and put into hostile communities, just in a bid desperate move to stop Biafra agitation. And what we are saying, we have a solution for it. Let there be a referendum. Let people decide where they want to be. Why are they afraid of referendum, for goodness sake? Referendum is part of democratic
If
process.
it so happens that today President Muhammadu Buhari asked for a roundtable discussion, would you oblige?
It depends on, roundtable discussion can be on anything. It depends on what he's talking about.
What you are agitating for. If he says, come, let us talk.
The only thing that will bring us to the negotiation table is Biafra. Simple as that.
Yes, if
Anything outside that,
you would discuss.
if they're talking about how Biafra will go, we send our representative there. But of course, there are war criminals. Muhammad Buhari or whoever is behaving to be him in Asok, pretending to be himself. He's a war criminal, for avoidance of that. All those people, the chief of army staff, the police chief that have come between 2014 and up until this moment, and some criminal Southeast governments. These are war criminals because they have participated either directly or indirectly in naming and spilling of the blood of innocent Biafran.
But do you think this government would actually allow for the succession of Biafra?
It doesn't matter. We don't care. And that is why we're doing what we're doing. We shall see who will get tired at the end of the day. They don't understand the mess that they have put themselves in. They thought that the present generation of Biafrans are the same with those that came before us, that when you intimidate, they will go and sleep. Or when you dangle money in their face, they will go and sleep. Just like this present group of Southeast politicians we have. When Fulani, Arewa,
Yes.
Consultative Forum contacts them, what can you do to stop IPOB? People are going for contracts from our place to stop IPOB, to go and collect money and then give information on whereabouts of IPOB members. These politicians cannot deny it. They are privy to all the python dances that have been conducted in Biafra land to kill, to maim, to destroy Biafran youths. Meanwhile, their children are abroad. They are preparing the future for them and destroying the future of those who are home. That is selfishness. And we are saying that it will not continue.
What would make you remain a part of Nigeria?
Nothing. It is too late. So much blood has been shed. We are going for Biafra. It doesn't matter how long it takes. They may say restructuring, go back to the regional system. It is taking us closer to Biafra. At the end of the day, it is an abomination. It will be an injustice to many for us to abandon this cause, because many have died because of many Biafra. And in this present dispensation, many IPOB family members came out and they vowed to fight for Biafra. And in the process, they were moved down. We cannot abandon them. Our loyalty is 100% where they are. And no matter how long it takes, Biafra shall be restored.
Are you bothered about the backlash you've been receiving?
What kind of
About giving the country a bad image abroad by your activities being unruly? By wanting to embarrass the president?
Embarrass the president? Is protest, civil protests, a crime? You need to ask yourself, if it is a crime, most of us would have been arrested. It is only in Nigeria that this mentality is reigning supreme. When you challenge a so-called elder who is obviously fraudulently deceiving people, they will say you are insulting, and all that. I have given you an example. There are so many politicians, including an Ukrainian politician, a number of them, they were thrown into the dustbin.
Yes.
Zimbabweans chased one of their political figures on the streets of London. There are so many. So why is this problem with Nigeria and Nigerians?
Okay.
Why that mentality?
Let us speak with Paul. Hello, Paul. Thanks for calling us. Let's have your
I
contribution.
just wanted to, first of all, thank the deputy leader of IPO for some explanation. So I just wanted to say whether IPO believes in democracy.
Do you believe in democracy?
Of course, that is why we are calling for referendum. Referendum is not coming with a fear or by fear. That is why they say Nigeria and Nigerians say that they are democracy.
Yeah.
And so we want to follow democratic process. And we are calling for referendum. And they are saying, no, it is treason. So who is fooling who, for goodness sake?
Okay, one thing that many people have commended IPOD for is the fact that now we can get most Nigerian politicians to sit at home instead of coming abroad to spend the country's money, living lavishly. And of course, a lot of them come over here and across the world for health tourism, whereby our hospitals are in dilapidated states back home. Nigerians are dying, you know, every day from lack of proper health care. So with the treatment of Ekweremadu and with the constant videos that have gone viral that any politician that is being caught abroad will be severely dealt with. So we see like there's been some caution there from Nigerian politicians. But the Minister for Aviation, am I correct? Oh my goodness, the
Rotimi
Amechi, he has said that, who are you guys threatening? That he can travel whenever he wants to.
He was in a train going to Rivers State. Let me come to General. His name is Chidika Amechi, isn't he? He's an evil man claiming to be something he's not. Let him come to General.
But you're going to have words with him. You're going to sit and have words with him.
What kind of words?
Not, it would be maltreated.
We have not maltreated.
Good. It would be
I need to correct this impression. We are not attacking anybody. And if it is an attack, it's an attack with egg, commensurate with an attack with AK-47. Can you begin to rationalize?
Okay.
These people, okay, if it is an attack, we are attacking with egg, you are attacking our people with AK-47, killing innocent people, and everybody is jubilating.
Because of course in societies like this, the AK-47 is not quickly, readily available. Let us speak with Uzoma. Hello Uzoma, thanks for joining us. Let's have a contribution. Hello, Zoma.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, yes, Uzoma, welcome.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
Yes. What I want to say, I just simply want to make one or two contributions into the discussion. As it is, the world knows what is happening in Biafra land. That is to say, the former eastern part of Nigeria. We must bear in mind that Nigeria was created by Britain. There were three nations that were involved to start with. We have the Arewa to the north.
That's noted. I want you to go straight to your question. That is noted.
All the ethnic groups that formed part of the former eastern Nigeria is Biafra land. And I wonder if any civilization can allow the killing of Biafrans to date to say, yes, we want to remain part of Nigeria. Forever, we will never be part of Nigeria. The agitation for Biafra sovereignty will continue, and we must get it. Look at the mayhem in the whole of Biafra land. Look at the killings, the raping of our mothers, sisters, daughters, and so on. It is unacceptable. Even though the world is keeping quiet, looking the other way, it's not going to happen this time around. We are in the 21st century, and we are going to continue with the agitation for no matter how long it takes. We want to be free. We are where we were before the amalgamation.
Thank you very much, Uzoma. I see a lot of people share your passion.
Of course, but you were saying that you were asking me a question before whether generality of the people in the eastern region.
Yes, because there will be people who are not fully in support.
Because people who are not in support of what we are doing are people who are either benefiting from the Nigerian system or people who have questionable parentage, fathers of that, or people who are filled with envy and jealousy. Why not me? And all that. What we are fighting for is a generational cause. It is not for me or for my children, it is for everyone. So everybody has platform here. And by the way, I want to say something. People say that we don't have respect for the so-called elders and all that. And I'm saying here, and this is our focus, this is our view. We have profound respect for elders. We have elders in IPOB as well. But we don't respect the stupid ones, the treacherous ones, the sellouts among us. Because at the end of the day, they are mortgaging the future of millions of Biafran generations already, that are yet to come. The future of the youth are mortgaged. The future of people who are coming after us are mortgaged. And these people are selfishly providing political and economic safe haven for their children abroad and all that. And we are saying that enough is enough. Since 1960s, they have been playing politics in people's lives, with the exception of the late people general.
Yes.
And this has continued every year, every electoral cycle. One fraudulent politician will come up and go and pay homage to Hausa Fulani, to Ariwa Consultative Forum and their cabals. And you ask yourself, what is all this? They want to serve them. They are subsequently serving them to serve the collective interests of our people for their own selfish aim. Go to the so-called Southeast, you will see that there is no more tribal road. All the industries there that were there before, they are all moribund, not because it just died in natural death, but because of economic sabotage, because of wickedness.
You know, for me, like a friend would say, you're preaching to the converted. If you talk about the region being marginalized and everything else, but I still feel, and maybe quite a number of people, that talks will get us to where we want. Things.
Well, we get us talk.
Yes.
But we have explored avenue for dialogue. All these politicians telling you, IPOB is this, IPOB is that, especially from Biafra, and ask them whether we have not made contact with them before. Our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, told them, that was 2017, go to Abuja, get me a date for referendum. Go to Abuja, tell them that our people are being marginalized. Let them fix the roads, let them fix the schools, that children will be going to school, let them open up the ports and airports for infrastructural, for another infrastructural facilities to be in a very good state. Our people are being deliberately and in a most wicked fashion being sidelined. And then those who are supposed to be representing our interests are sleeping and, building the economic and political capital for themselves and their children. And we are saying that this cannot continue. These are sellouts. Unless they change.
Yes.
This is just the beginning.
Okay, I want to take you on that because you said you wanted to talk about it also, and we wonder why Dr. Pedro Obaseki left before this conversation ended, because he had promised that he was going to be part of this discussion, because he was talking about the map carved, and the Biafra map carved, and that Delta in Edo State is part of it. And you're saying you're going back to the old map when the regions were separated and brought together. We know that Edo Delta was part of the eastern region, and these other two states say they don't want to be part of it.
So that is why the only way to resolve all those problems is referendum. We are not forcing anybody, but we are restoring Biafra the way it was before, because that was our inheritance wrongly robbed us. And we are saying, let Biafra be restored the way it was before. Anybody can belong to anywhere he wants.
Okay.
But because of these problems, people making this claim and all that, and because of this further delineation of boundaries, gerrymandering, and uprooting of communities and putting them into hostile communities where they don't have a say. We want referendum for people to decide. You can decide to belong to Sokoto. You can decide to go to Yoruba land and live. But let those who want to be part of Biafra decide as well. Why are they afraid of it?
Okay.
It's a democratic process.
Okay then. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
Thank you.
And then we hope we'll have you on, because this issue seems to be on the front runner of every news platform around the country, Nigeria, and of course on blogs. So thank you very much for joining me. Okay, viewers, I have been speaking with Mr. Uche Okafo-Mensah, who is the deputy leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. We've had a really good discussion, and hopefully, like I said to him, we'll be having this discussion again. I want to say thank you very much to our callers, our viewers, everyone who have made this program a success today. And hopefully next week, of course, we'll be again. And of course, I would not forget to say thank you very much to our sponsors, Papir and Camille Bear and Beauty. And that's it for today on the program. My name is Rose Peter Graham. Bye-bye. Sorry.